Thanks for coming, everybody. We are going to spend the next hour talking about your gut. And although that may not seem like the most glamorous topic, it is actually really relevant to everybody, whether, it's interesting or not. But some of the things that I found over the years of working with people and helping people with their lifestyle is that we can generally trace everything back to the gut. And sometimes it's like the problem starts in the gut and it trickles around to other systems in the body, or sometimes it starts somewhere else and then it affects the gut. But usually the gut is involved. And several years ago, I attended a conference that was all about food as medicine. And by the end of it, it was all doctors and professionals and nutrition experts. And by the end of it, kind of the joke of the whole thing was, when in doubt, treat the gut. And so I think it's important to first establish what the gut is. Now, your digestive system, from top to bottom, is about 30 feet in length. So this is really a significant part of your body. It's just that, a lot of it's all windy and tangled and squunched up. So we don't notice that it takes up so much space. The other thing is that it's an interesting way to look at it when you think that although your digestive system is inside your body, because it's open on both ends, it's actually kind of external. And that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, except for, you can kind of picture food goes in and what comes out and it interacts with your body, but it's like its own system within your body. And about 69% of Americans have gastrointestinal issues. And this is a lot of people. And I would actually assume that it's probably a little bit more than that. It's just that when surveys are done, that's how many people know that they have a gastrointestinal issue. And so, the disease, illness, costs for the United States for digestive related problems is so big. It's about $41 billion per year and 229 million sick days are taken because of the digestive system. And so this is obviously a lot. It's 190,000 deaths per year. Now, I'm throwing all these numbers out there just because they're so big. The numbers are so big that I think it helps us to understand how important, how big it is for us to all understand the interconnectedness of our gut to our health. So I think when we talk about lifestyle in the gut and essential oils in the gut and supplements in the gut, we're talking about everything. We're talking about, it could be conditions like asthma or autoimmune conditions. I have this entire list. There are hundreds of conditions on this list that relate to the gut. Tinnitus, ringing in the ears, something you might not know, is often related to the gut. Emotional issues, anything from mild to severe skin problems, mental confusion, a stuffy nose. The list goes on and on. So as our community tries to connect all of the dots and the parts of wellness and take a holistic approach, we recognize and are really excited about essential oils and how they can interact with the gut and your digestive system, how they can assist you to become healthier and to support you. But we also know that there are other lifestyle things you can do that will help you on the quest to achieve your maximum health. And so that's really why we do this monthly wellness class to begin with, because we want to provide you with the essential oils and Young Living information, but we also want to provide you with the lifestyle information. So I'm just going to start with a really brief story of my own, and then I'm going to hand it over to Megan. But you know, we often don't think about the emotional aspect of digestion, and most of the serotonin, which is a happy chemical that your body produces, is produced by the gut, not in your brain. And so we think of it as a brain chemical. It's actually more of a gut chemical. And I really spent the first 25 years of my life struggling really hard with emotions, and I didn't know why. I mean, yeah, there was that period in my 20s when I existed on Easy Mac and Diet Pepsi, and that was, you know, not really something that I'm proud of. But I didn't realize, even though I worked in exercise science, so a health-related field, I didn't realize how important it was what I ate. But there was a time when I was about 25, and actually, no, I was like 28. I had read some research studies, and I decided that I was going to try cutting out certain foods. And so I did that. And I felt almost 100% better within 24 hours, emotionally, mentally. It was like fog lifted. I wasn't living in glue anymore. It was just incredible for me. So I want to say, the reason I'm saying that is because as a wellness professional and someone who's done a lot of research and worked with a lot of people on their own health and digestion, I think it's really important for us to acknowledge that we're all different. So we don't prescribe to the one-size-fits-all diet mentality. There are some fundamental things about the gut that we know, and there are some fundamental things about food that we know. Beyond that, I want to just impart to you that your digestive health and your gut and the way you feel is your responsibility. And it's wonderful if you have trusted professionals to help you explore along that path. But you're different than everybody else on the planet. And so your wellness, it probably should be at least a part-time job. And we're really happy to be a part of helping you along that exploration path. And that's where we're coming from today. So we're not going to address a lot of disease states or illnesses or that kind of thing, but we're going to give you the foundation and the jumping off points and a lot of examples. And then you take notes, you write down your questions, ask us. We may or may not be able to answer based on, you know, how much information we have about you and what we know. So think of this as your jumping off point. And on that note, I'll hand it over to Megan.
All right, I am really excited for us to kind of be able to start to dig into some of the practical aspect of what we're going to be able to do. And before we do that, I am going to real quick announce I have a giveaway for the Mighty Pro. So we have, I think, 11 people on that. I just put in random numbers for that and just basing it on the way that everybody is seated in my thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Kathy is going to be one of our winners, and Brooke is one of our winners, and Erin, you're one of our winners. I'm going to write these, actually, Lisa, write all these names down. And um, and Brenda is one of our winners, and so is Christine. So Mighty Pro is one of our favorite supplements around our house. We use this daily, the kids do, and it is a probiotic and prebiotic supplement. So it has a lot of really great, and I know we'll get in a little bit more into probiotics and prebiotics. Lisa's going to help us explore some of those in our diet. But that is something that's really simple and really wonderful that we use on the regular around here. So that kind of goes into why we educate to the Young Living lifestyle, is because it is about a lifestyle change. It's not just about a once and done. And like Lisa said, it really is a very individualized choice, and everybody is really, going to benefit from a different way of modifying their lifestyle and really exploring how they're going to be able to best serve their own health. And I was talking to one of our Essential Life members about that today, and she just had such an amazing perspective on it, because she completely credits her joining Young Living and her Young Living lifestyle with shifting her gut health massively, and how wonderfully liberating that has been for her, has made some major lifestyle changes for her. And she specified that it was really important for everyone to recognize that you don't have to stay stuck with where you're feeling, and that it's not about just accepting that that's the way your body is going to be forever, because that's where she was feeling before, but that it's really important to recognize all the things you put in, on, and around your body, and how they can play a huge part in your digestive health. Because really, the toxins that we take in our environment, like even the lotions that we're putting on our skin, they affect the liver, they affect the kidneys, and all of those are the things that detox what we're ingesting as well, and what we're taking in to our body. So it's really important for your whole system to go through a detox and have a lifestyle change that way. And that it's also really important to feel empowered to be able to ask for help and make changes. And like Lisa said, work with a health professional, but also feel like you can advocate for those changes. I think that that's a really important aspect of it, to feel like you really can be your best advocate and explorer of what your health is. And I think that's where that ties into essential oils. So many people can feel really intimidated to use essential oils because there's a lot of fear mongering within it. And it's really helpful if we can let go of some of that and trust our gut, because that's the best way that we can really heal our bodies and help our system. And I was just looking through some resources. One of them's by a really prestigious chemist, was talking a lot about how the industry has scared people away, and how we really can normalize that essential oils, they're natural, they're plant-based, they aren't going to be synthesized like medicines are. What happens though is that a lot of pharmaceuticals are actually based off of plants. And what they do is they take an element of that plant, they take one of the aspects of that plant that's doing something, and then they go ahead and try and develop a drug around it and make it very clearly something that they can standardize. Whereas essential oils are not going to be exactly like that, in that's the beauty of them, that they're going to have a little bit more variability. And as a result, for you, your digestion, peppermint might work really like wonders. And then for my digestion, ginger might work wonders. So we do need to understand that everybody's body chemistry is going to have that different factor. The amazing thing about essential oils and how they work is that they, unlike some of the digestive medicines that you can take that are on, the over-the-counter ones, where you take them for one issue, like constipation, all of a sudden you've created a whole nother issue. Essential oils aren't going to work that way. They're not going to untip the scales. What they try to do is find a happy medium. So it's crazy when you look things up for one digestive need, and then you apply that essential oil. Well, that same essential oil is going to support a whole nother digestive need. And that's, it's going to be able to address both of those, because what it's doing is trying to help the cells return to their normal, healthy, functioning level. So essential oils have that amazing quality where they're not going to over shove your system out of whack one way or the other. Some of the common digestive essential oils that we're going to be familiar with already are peppermint and digize. Digize and peppermint both come in the premium starter kit, so everybody should have access to those already. Digize is a blend of essential oils, and if you go and look at that, it has a long list of really helpful oils for digestion, including ginger, including peppermint, lemongrass, fennel, patchouli, tarragon, and juniper. So there's a whole bunch of different essential oils in that blend that are all helpful on their own as well. So Digize is one of those oils that can make a lot of believers. I've heard some really great stories around this essential oil as to how it has helped people. And the best part about that is it's not an oil that smells fabulous, that everyone wants to sit around bathing in on a regular basis most of the time. But that's where we know it works. Like essential oils, one of my favorite sayings that I first learned when I got started learning about essential oils is it's not about the smells, it's about the cells and how the essential oils influence our cellular system. And it's not just that they smell great and that we use them for the aromatherapy concept, but that we're actually getting therapeutic benefits from them. One of the ways that I practically combat the over stinkiness of Digize is I will take about 3 drops of Digize in a roller bottle or an empty bottle that I'm turning into a roller bottle like this where I put a roll top on. I'll put about 3 drops of Digize, about 3 drops of peppermint, and 3 drops of lavender, somewhere around there, in a roller bottle, and then dilute it so that it's not quite as intense with that earthy smell of Digize. The other way that I balance that out is that we use quite often Tummy Jize, and this one's in the Kid Sense line. It's a lot more mild, so it doesn't have quite the same intense earthiness that Digize does. It has spearmint, so it's a milder mint, and it's not going to be as overpowering because it's made for kids. So it has a lot of really kid-friendly essential oils in it. We use this around the house. We have a couple bottles of this around the house. Essential oils have been one piece of my daughter's digestive health, and I so wish we had discovered them back when she was a baby, because it was a chronic thing that we really worked with. And now that we are able to adjust our diets and use essential oils on a regular basis and understand that a little bit more, has made a huge difference. Some other essential oils that you can use for digestion are ginger, which I already mentioned, lemon, spearmint is another one. And it's really also important to recognize some of those that you may not think about as much, like tangerine, for example, is really well known. Tangerine Vitality is great for digestive health, and you can add a drop of that to your Ningxia Red. So Ningxia Red is something that I think a couple of the people on here would vouch for being amazing for the digestive system. It's also one of the key elements in our day-to-day lifestyle, because we're getting a lot of nutrients and minerals and fiber that we normally wouldn't get. So we'll talk a little bit more about some of those other supplements in a little bit. If anybody has an essential oil that you have loved using, go ahead and feel free to put that in the comments, because I do think that, like I said, there's a lot of variability within the world of essential oils. Spearmint has been another one that's amazing, and we have used quite regularly. And it is also, again, it's a little bit milder. So that's what I've got for essential oils. And I'm going to throw that back to you, Lisa.
Okay. So one thing to add on the digest. So most people don't love the scent, but there are some people like my mom who absolutely love the scent. And she actually loves it so much that she adds drops of it to her water and drinks it. So, it's not commonly liked, but there are people who do like it. I think it's because she likes fennel so much. So people who like the scent of fennel, because that is kind of overpowering in digest, probably like it. And tummy jize, I kind of use that a lot, or aroma ease when I'm going in public or I'm going to be around people and I don't want to smell like that. But on the lifestyle aspect of digestion in your gut, so in this first segment that I'm talking, I want to cover basically two things. One has to do with elimination, and the other is just sort of an overall list of the things you can do to optimize your digestion that are just really easy tips and tricks. So I'm going to make sure to look at my notes so I don't forget anything and so I don't get off track, because this topic's really big. We could probably talk about it for 3 hours or so, but we want to keep it shorter than that. So like I said before, the entire length of your digestive system is about 30 feet long, which is very long. But it's important to know what your transit time is. And by transit time, I mean the time between when you consume food and when you have a bowel movement that eliminates the waste from that food. So it's not just like, a lot of people will say, oh, I have a bowel movement every morning. It's like clockwork. That tells us something, but it doesn't tell us everything. So what we really want to know, we may not want to know, but if we want to know ultimately our digestive and gut health, we want to know the actual transit time. And so the easiest way to measure transit time is actually to eat beets. And so if you go and you buy, 3 or 4 beets and roast them or cook them however you like, and then eat the beets. And as soon as you're done eating, take note of the time, and then later, when you notice your bowel movement has a red tint to it, then you know that is your transit time. And so a normal transit time, or a normal number of bowel movements, is 1 to 2 per day. Transit time, you want to eliminate everything you put in now within 24 hours. That's pretty important. And it's another reason why, like, if you need to go, you really shouldn't hold it, because the longer you hold it, the more the toxins that are in your waste that your body is trying to get rid of will be reabsorbed back into your blood. Of course, we don't want this. So, when you gotta go, just go and find a way. So the other thing is, how do you maximize your elimination? Because you want to fully eliminate for your maximum digestive health. And the Squatty Potty is a good tool. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it. It's just basically a stool that you put in front of your toilet, and then so when you're using the toilet, your feet are raised up a little bit. Ideally, if you were out in the woods or something, you would just squat. That's the ideal position for elimination. In your house, you can kind of rig that up if you want to, or you can just get a Squatty Potty, and it helps you eliminate more fully. And this is great for your health, your digestive health, and everything else too. And the reason it's great for everything else is because your digestive health is essential to all other areas of your health. And so the main foundational tips that I give people when I say you need to optimize your digestion are the following 7 things. The first one is don't wear tight clothes or tight undies. It sounds not that important, but actually wearing loose clothing, loose underwear, it gives all that 30 feet of digestive system the space to do what it needs, because one of the main modes of digestion is actually physical contractions of your intestines and your colon. And so, and peristalsis, and, this is very important. So the tighter your clothes, the more you're restricting your digestion. The second thing is think before you eat or drink, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later, but basically the more junk in your diet, the worse your digestion is going to be, and the more damage you can do to your digestive tract over time if you're not eating the foundationally right foods. Quality matters. So the quality of your food does really, really matter. And I don't know if you've seen in the news recently, but there is a lot of controversy about Roundup or glyphosate, which is used on a lot of crops. And for years, Monsanto has said that it doesn't cause health problems, it doesn't bioaccumulate, or it doesn't store in the body. And now we're finding that it really does. And it doesn't just, they've admitted that it causes cancer. However, it doesn't just cause cancer. It damages the lining of your intestines. Now, this is just one chemical that I'm talking about. So like Megan mentioned, even things you put on your skin are going to impact your digestive system. And so the integrity of your intestinal lining and things like that. So quality of your food matters a lot. The next thing is to eat in peace. And if you have kids, this may not be completely possible. I don't know the last time I had a really peaceful meal, but the key factor with this is that the nutrients you consume are very important. However, if you're not in a peaceful setting, if it's chaos and stressful and you have the TV on, or you're scrolling on Facebook and your kids are screaming and whatever, or you're answering emails, your body is not going to absorb nutrients as effectively as if you just put everything down, turn off the electronics, and eat in peace. Take deep breaths. The next thing is to make sure you're sitting and you're not eating on the run, that kind of thing. Number 6 is to establish rhythms. So habits when you eat your meals. Now, you don't have to be exact on this, but if in general you eat your meals at the same time or close to it every day, your body adjusts to that. And so it knows that you eat lunch at noon, and right around noon, even before you start eating, your digestive system will know to increase the digestive juices, and you might even have your mouth water or your stomach grumble. That's because of habit, and you can change those habits. It really only takes a few days to change it intentionally if you want to, but once you have good habits, try to keep those, and that will help your digestion. And then the last basic thing is to slow down. So the saying is, eat less and chew more. Now, the eat less thing is more of a general statement to Americans in general, but the chew more, we have this habit of eating too quickly. A lot of people have the habit of, while you're eating one bite, you're kind of eating it fast because you're thinking about the next bite, especially if it's something that is really yummy. So instead, really slow down. All those things you've heard before, like put your fork down in between bites. It's legitimate. It makes an actual difference in your digestion. You should actually be chewing your food until it liquefies. Sounds a little gross. It'll probably feel weird when you do it at first because you're not used to doing that. But if you've ever vomited and you see pieces of whole food come out, or even, you have a bowel movement and you see pieces of food, or maybe your kids, you see this, partly some foods don't really digest totally, like corn. But if you were chewing that until it was liquid, it wouldn't come out in whole kernels. So that really does make a difference, because if you're not digesting it, you're not unlocking the nutrients from it. And so those are the foundational lifestyle things. And I'm going to turn it back over to Megan. And then after that, I'll come back and talk about a few other things.
So that's one of the ways. So what Lisa just talked about are some of the ways that you can change your day-to-day lifestyle. And one of the other things that we want to talk about at this point is how you can supplement your lifestyle. So supplements are certainly something that have gotten a lot more awareness over the past few years. And one of the main reasons that supplements have become more necessary is because of the food that we are consuming. So as Lisa was talking about, we want to avoid the foods that have the extra stuff that's not good for our body. One of the challenges is because of the way that our farming system has really gotten to mass production and broken down the way that we're making food. The soil has really depleted and does not have as many nutrients. And that's where the plants are getting the nutrients from the soil. So just like with essential oils, Young Living really feels strongly about how the plants are farmed, because one of the biggest sayings that Gary Young always had was, it's not about the oil, it's about the soil. Because where the soil that those things are being grown in and how that is structured really ends up translating to the plants. So a lot of the food that we consume does not have the same level of nutrients that it once had. And so our system is going to be really needing extra supplementation. And everybody's system is going to be needing different kinds of supplementation based on other lifestyle factors like age or activity level or the way that your organs are functioning. So there's a lot of different supplements out there. And I know personally I have found this process of trying to figure out what supplements are going to prove the best for me and my family a little overwhelming at times. So Lisa will definitely get back and talk a little bit more about some key supplements and foods and such that you can address certain needs with. But one of the supplements that pretty much any person in the field of nutrition and any person who's had challenging digestive issues is going to want to introduce is probiotics of some form. So probiotics help to balance the gut bacteria, because we want good bacteria in our gut, but we don't want an overgrowth of bad bacteria, because that determines that more negative symptoms can kind of emerge once that happens and that balance gets thrown off. So the probiotic from Young Living is Life 9. It used to be Life 5, and they added a bunch more strains of the good bacteria to it to really beef it up and make it a very dynamic probiotic. It is probably one of the higher rated ones that can be found on the regular conventional market without a prescription. And it is going to address a lot of different bacterial strains within our gut. I was using this a while with my kids before the Mighty Pro probiotics came out. I would empty a capsule into food. So Some people who may find that it's a strong probiotic for them could do that, where you could take a capsule and use half at a time. And you can also do that in like smoothies or in applesauce or whatnot. So my whole family was using that for a while, and now I'm the one who's primarily using it. And then we have the Mighty Pro. So the Mighty Pro also has what is called a prebiotic in it. And the prebiotic feeds the good bacteria so that it has a little bit more extra nourishment and it can balance out. So that's a really helpful aspect of it. The other supplement within Young Living, actually there's two, but the one supplement that does have prebiotics also is called Master Formula, which is a multivitamin packet. So it's actually 4 vitamins, and it addresses a bunch of different things such as B vitamins and vitamin D. I started using multi-formula this past month and my nails are extremely happy. So that's obviously been a really wonderful effect. It does have biotin in it, which helps with nail and hair growth as well. It is a very diverse multivitamin, and some of the advice that I've read about that, if you've considered it, is to get Master Formula, take it straight for a month and get your body kind of adjusted to all of those vitamins, and then you can pull back and you could do it every other day, or you could do twice a week. So it's not the kind of thing that maybe you would need to do every day forever, but that it's something that can really help to get your body to absorb a lot of minerals and nutrients that are needed. One of the really cool aspects of the supplements from Young Living that I wanted to make sure to touch on, and I talked a little bit about this in our last webinar too, is that we have the unique aspect of essential oils being infused into these supplements. And when Gary Young started Young Living 25 years ago, one of the supplements that, actually 2 of the supplements that are still around were 2 of the first supplements he made, Multigreens and Comfort Tone. And Comfort Tone is a really great one for the digestive health too. Both of those have essential oils in them. And when they studied this in a clinical setting, they found that with the herbs and the supplemental materials that are in there, when they took just them, there was about a 42% blood absorption of those nutrients in 24 hours. So in one day, 42% of the supplement was able to be absorbed into the body. So less than half. Now, when they added the essential oils into that supplement in 30 minutes, not 30 hours, 30 minutes, 64% of those nutrients were absorbed into the blood. They could measure 64%. So it was over half, 30 minutes, and in 1 hour, 86%. So what that means is that the cells were now absorbing many more nutrients that weren't previously available because of the essential oils helping with cellular absorption. So that just is one of those things that makes the supplements really unique, in that they now are becoming a little bit more bioavailable for us, and they're going to have extra potency and opportunity to do what those herbs were made to do also. So I mentioned Comfort Tone. That's another one that I have used in the past when we've done different detoxes and cleanses. And it comes also in the cleansing trio. Right now, ICP is not available. It's out of stock. Both of those are great for digestion. And I'm going to leave the enzymes, the essential zymes, up to Lisa because I know that she's got a lot of great information on that. Comfort Tone in particular is really great for cleansing your system, and it helps to eliminate residue from the colon and enhance its ability to function. So that's certainly something to keep in mind if you feel like maybe if you don't have the great elimination time that Lisa was talking about. Comfort Tone and ICP, when it's in stock, ICP is kind of like a Metamucil type thing with the psyllium husks as well as other insoluble fibers. But both of those are amazing for increasing your elimination time and making sure that you're actually really emptying out the residue and cleansing your digestive system. Those, and then Digest and Cleanse is another amazing supplement that Young Living has that is also out of stock right now. So you can DIY your Digest and Cleanse, and I didn't talk about that yet when I was talking about essential oils. But what you can do is you can take the essential oils that are in Digest and Cleanse, which I don't have them listed out right now, but that's super easy to discover on the website, and you can make your own capsules. So I have the bottle of the capsules, the vegetable capsules from Young Living, and I will oftentimes make my own capsule. I don't love the taste of, I am not someone who wants to put Digize in my water or under my tongue or anywhere that I'm going to taste it. So I will take a vegetable capsule and I will put a drop of Digize in there and a drop of peppermint. And again, that's really just because peppermint I find like a little bit stronger in flavor. And then I will fill the rest of that capsule with olive oil and close it. And I can take that before or after any type of food that's irritating me, or I oftentimes will take digestive things. If somebody in my house comes down with some sort of stomach issue or stomach bug, I will take Digize proactively. I'm all about the proactive, and I really think that's another massive benefit of using essential oils is the opportunity to do something before the issue has arose, because they have this really wonderful opportunity to regulate our system as opposed to a medicine. Again, we have to stop thinking medically and think a little bit more proactively, and that gives us a great opportunity. So digest and cleanse, you can definitely make your own. And if you make a bunch of capsules ahead of time, then you can stick them in the freezer, which is what I prefer to do. 2 reasons: it will preserve, the capsules from leaking, but also it just keeps them out of my way. And they're not on my counter. The capsules, if they get wet, they will deteriorate. So that is really helpful. So Lisa, you're going to be able to share a little bit more about what goes into all of the supplementation.
Yes. So Megan and I didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I really loved what she said about Master Formula. And so I'm not going to tell you about any other multivitamin, because although I used to take other multivitamins, I actually would not take any other multivitamin besides Master Formula at this point, for all the reasons that she stated. And one of the main reasons is because most multivitamins, those solid ones, they don't break down in your stomach. So you can, and there are opinions whether or not this is super accurate. It's not 100% accurate, but if you've got a Centrum or a, women's one a day or whatever, and you want to see if your body's actually using it, put it in a little cup of vinegar and a few minutes. If it doesn't dissolve, it's not dissolving in your stomach either. So you're not it's not accessible to your body. So not only is the format of delivery of Master Formula better and more usable, but then you add in the essential oils and that increases the absorbability into cells and everything. So, and that really goes for all Young Living supplements, in my professional opinion and in my experience, and with the experiences of everybody who tells me their experiences. The Young Living supplements are far and away better than any other brand I have ever encountered. Now, there's a couple brands that come kind of sort of close, but if you've got the choice of taking the Young Living ones, I highly suggest that you do that. Now, the one side note on probiotics is that if you do have noticeable digestive issues, or you have some big problems that you are trying to solve through addressing your digestion, you can rotate some probiotics, different brands. And over the years, as Young Living changed from Life 5 to Life 9, I've decreased the number because of the wider spectrum of probiotics in Life 9. So I don't think you need to rotate as many. However, if you do have some digestive issues, you can take a spore form of probiotics as well, and that would be, there are a couple brands of those. Mega Spore Biotic is the one that I personally like and have seen the most evidence of effectiveness. So that's kind of my side note on probiotics. Now, what I want to talk about enzymes too. So enzymes are catalysts. Enzymes are keys. B vitamins are actually enzymes, and B vitamins help you unlock the nutrients from your food and use those nutrients. And now we can see that trickle down effect from how our micronutrients impact our digestive system, how our digestive system impacts the absorption of our nutrients, and how that all impacts our health over time. Because if the system and the interactions and the unlocking of the nutrients isn't occurring effectively, then your cells starve. That's really the bottom line. And so making sure you have enough B vitamins, which are enzymes, is important, but also digestive enzymes. And again, although the Young Living digestive enzymes, the price tag on those is a little bit higher than if you just went to Walgreens and bought a whatever other brand of enzymes. They have the essential oils within the enzyme pills. So you're getting that boost factor again. And I believe in Essential Zymes 4, there are several different ones, and I'm not going to break down all the different ones now because that would take too long. But Essential Zymes 4, for example, comes in little, tells you how many to take with your 2 biggest meals per day. And so if you were only eating raw produce, raw vegetables, and fruit, then all of those things would come packaged with the enzymes they need to break them down in your body and to help you use the nutrients. However, we eat more things than raw produce, and we eat and anytime you eat even produce that is heated above about 115 degrees Fahrenheit, the enzymes are killed. And so, in any processed food, any cooked food really. And so then your body has to produce the enzymes. And the way I describe taking the enzymes as a boost is that if your body has to produce all of the enzymes to break down those foods, it's focusing on that. It's working really hard to do that. Over time, that system gets tired, but also simultaneously to doing that work, it's neglecting other maintenance type of work in your body. So if you take the enzymes, you boost digestion, you boost micronutrient absorption, you boost cellular energy, you boost, which is metabolism, you boost everything having to do with using the nutrients from your food and getting it to your cells and turning that into energy and whatever else, cell repair and preventing disease and things like that. So people often start taking enzymes and they realize over time that random symptoms that they've had have gone away, and they didn't intentionally take the enzymes to address those symptoms, but it just happened. And that kind of comes back to the fact that digestion affects everything. But there are a few other things that are important and a few other tricks that I have that I want to share with you. And I'm going to refer to my notes because it's really easy for me to go off on tangents with this. So when we're talking about lifestyle and supplements and things for you to do to either rebuild your digestive system or just to optimize it, the first thing is the quality of your water. it's extremely important to be hydrated. And this is often overlooked in the realm of digestion. We talk about it in a lot of other areas of wellness, but in the realm of digestion, it's extremely important to be hydrated. And so to support your digestion with hydration, you need to drink half your body weight in ounces of water per day. So if you weighed 200 pounds, you drink 100 ounces of water per day. It's very important that you spread that out over the day. And when you first wake up, within the first hour of the day, after you wake up, drink up to 32 ounces. If you weigh under 150 pounds, go 16 to 24 ounces. If you weigh more than that, drink a little bit more. Adding sea salt, a pinch of sea salt to each serving of water you have helps you. It helps the electricity in your body. It helps you conduct the messages. And when you're using good quality Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, you're adding minerals, and these minerals are extremely important to your digestive health and to the lining of your digestive system being healthy. Now, to back up, kind of, like I said in the beginning, it's your responsibility to investigate what your digestive needs are. So when you are deciding what supplements to take and what to do, the first thing you need to do is identify the gaps, identify your gaps. How do you feel? And the best thing to do is keep a journal. What you eat when, how much you drink, how you feel. And you don't have to do this for months and months, although some people like to. At least a week, though. And it's pretty easy to do. If you're a phone person, just make a note in your phone. And if you think you're going to remember the details, I'm just going to be honest, you're not. 5 days passes, you have some weird symptom for 2 days, you think you ate pizza on Tuesday, and, all of these details swim around. You need the exact things. If you're not a detail-oriented person, you can still do this. You just need to have a little notebook with you and just write down times and foods and drinks and how you felt. And after you do that, then that really helps you decide some of the supplements. If you need help at that point figuring it out, then, that's completely normal too. You don't necessarily have to interpret all of it on your own. But I would say that if beyond all the things we've already talked about, the other things that are foundational for all humans are having enough essential fatty acids. And so this is like fish oil. Absolute best way to get this is to consume fish 2 to 3 times a week. Now, if you hate seafood, if you're not going to do that, then you can take a fish oil supplement. Young Living's Omega Gi's, amazing quality, and packaged with the essential oils again. So that's an easy way to get it. Or, if it gets to be towards the end of the week and you say, well, I didn't eat fish this week, so just take the Omega Gi's as needed. It doesn't have to be like all one or all the other. You can spread it out. It's kind of like Megan said with Master Formula. Once you're into it, you don't have to take it every single day. You don't have to take it as the dose says on it, Minerals. Most Americans are deficient in minerals. And like Megan talked about, it's really the soil, processed food. If you eat any processed food at all, then you're deficient in minerals. And taking a mineral supplement is a really good idea, even for kids. Unfortunately, they taste really yucky, but it helps with so many different things with your digestion And beyond that, it's far reaching into your emotions and every area of your body, all cellular function. Reducing the number of processed grains that you eat. So now, if people are on the paleo diet, then they say cut out grains completely. That may work for you. You may not need to cut out grains completely, but anytime you eat pasta, bread, any processed grain, you're taxing your digestive system. So if you do that and you feel okay, then just moderate how much of that you consume based on what your health is like. If you're trying to fix any sort of health problem, anything, I'm talking something really serious like cancer, autoimmune disease, down to migraines or headaches or whatever, consider cutting out all processed grains while you're working on that. And then the probiotics, prebiotics, Megan talked about, those are very, very important. Food sources of probiotics are like sauerkraut, but it has to be the alive kind, yogurt, water kefir or milk kefir, kombucha. There's beet kvass, I don't know how to say that, which is yucky, but some people like it. You can make all of these things. You can buy all of these things too. They are pretty easy to make. I know that even if you know Kirsten McCormick, even when they were traveling around on their school bus and living on their bus for a year, she had a drawer in there of ferments. And she did that on the road. So, it's something that you can do. Make sure, well, one time I had sauerkraut in mason jars in my pantry, and I had done purple cabbage, and one of them exploded all over the pantry. So, pay attention to timing and that kind of thing, but it's not rocket science. It's all really, really easy. Just Google it. There's YouTube videos on how to do it. Or you can buy it if you want to buy it, but treat those things like a condiment. They're not meant to be eaten in huge quantities, but traditionally they've been eaten as a condiment on your plate, just a few bites or a few sips or whatever. You don't need tons and tons of it. And so the other thing is, as far as what your plate of food looks like, Americans currently eat so much protein. And so if you look at the American plate, it's like half protein or more, and then either half grains and maybe no vegetables, or it's like a little bit of vegetables. Depends on the person. It could be half grains and, a quarter of the plate is meat. So keep your serving sizes. It's really true for your digestive health. Your serving size of meat being about the size of a deck of cards is going to help you. And then as you eat, that with a meal, make sure that the more vegetables you have, the more it's going to help you digest the other things. But if you were to eat a dinner of steak, mashed potatoes, a roll, that's all going to stay in your gut for like 12 hours or more because it's so hard to digest. But if you want to have the steak, go ahead, have more vegetables with it, and it helps speed that up. And just make sure your serving sizes are very moderate for meat. It's not that you can't have it. But again, you have to experiment for yourself and how you feel and how it works for you. Then my favorite topic right now is respecting your circadian rhythms. And I'm saying this for every topic that comes up at this point, but there's research on all of it. And if you, within an hour of sunrise, if you can be up, awake, and also outside in sunlight without any glass in between your eyes and the sun, this is a very, having your circadian rhythms on track, in sync, helps every system in your body. It's especially helpful for your digestive system. And this is just because of the way the sun's rays hit your eyes, and then the messages of melanopsin have and nutrient absorption occur when you have sun exposure, helps to nourish the digestive cells and repair the lining of your stomach and the lining of your intestines. So it's kind of like sunlight is repairing to your the lining, the microvilli that are kind of like the brush border inside your intestines. We damage this by the foods we eat mostly. And so that's one easy way to repair that. Another way, and another issue, a lot of people have yeast overgrowth in their body, and women sometimes have evidence of that because they have vaginal yeast infections. But I can tell you that if you have vaginal yeast infections, you most definitely have systemic and digestive yeast overgrowth too. And even if you don't have yeast infection, vaginal yeast infections, it's very common to have yeast overgrowth or candida overgrowth in your digestive system. And this is very damaging to the walls of your intestines. And so one amazing trick that I've learned about in how to repair that, not only to kill the yeast and help restore balance in your system, but also to repair the wall, is by combining turmeric and resveratrol supplements. In research studies, it was shown that they have a synergistic effect when you take them together. And I actually use this for myself, where you take, I can't remember the amounts right now, but I'll make sure you guys have that information if you want it. You take them together twice a day, and this helps you repair, not only kill the yeast, but repair the lining of your intestines. And so when your intestines are compromised and when they're leaky, then that's when all of the waste and toxins and everything that's traveling through your digestive tract gets into your bloodstream. It travels to other parts of your body, and this is what causes all these weird symptoms that everybody has. So repairing is really important, nourishing to begin with. So you're doing a combination of adding in things that nourish your digestive system, and you're taking out the things that damage it. And so, like I said, since it's your responsibility, there's the investigative part, and then coming up with things that you're going to try. Now, when you come up with something that you're going to try, you need to give your body 1 to 6 months to show you results. And that's a really big span, but you have to give at least 1 month to see any results. And depending on what your issues are or what you're trying to accomplish, it may take up to 6 months. So you have to have a little bit of patience there too. And I think that's all I had to talk about. Of course, there's a lot with digestion. We didn't touch on specific conditions, but really anything, eczema, anxiety, sore throats, chronic, like if you think of any sort of chronic symptoms anywhere in your body, it likely is related to your digestion. So when in doubt, treat the gut.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all that good information. One of the things I totally forgot to mention again was the Ningxia Red. And I wanted to mention that in with all the supplements that we talked about, I know a lot of you already participate and understand Essential Rewards as another super huge perk for getting supplements, because when you're using the Essential Rewards shipment plan from Young Living, every month you're putting your supplements on there and you're automatically earning percentages back on that. So when you first get started, it's 10%. I know some of us are already at the 20 and the 25%. And so if you're ordering your supplement, like Omega Gives, which I love, or Master Formula, you're going to be getting back percentages on that already. And that's one of the things that makes Young Living's Essential Rewards program amazing for members. Ninja Red is one that's great for Essential Rewards because they have an Essential Rewards package that you can get through there, and you can get discounted amounts on that. It's the best deal for how much you pay per ounce for Ninja Red. Ninja Red is made from the Ninja Wolfberry, the supplement that I believe everybody should be drinking daily. And in my house, we do drink it daily. I just saw my husband pack it in his lunch yesterday. Amazing, shocking, but he knows it's good for him. And it is really helpful for the digestive system as well as tons of other systems in the body, which is one of the reasons that I think it's an awesome place to be able to start. It is from the Ninja Wolfberry. It is from Ningxia province in China, which is why it has that name. The wolfberry itself is rated on the ORAC scale, ORAC, which is the antioxidant level measurement. So it is really one of the highest ones. It's got a rating of 3,290. So it blows a ton of other waters out, or other foods out of the water. Antioxidants give the lining of the gut a lot of TLC, and it helps to protect the cells by keeping other inflammation at bay. So there's a really good benefit to that, because then your body's not working extra hard on other inflammation in other parts of the body as well as in the digestive system. And the antioxidants also promote good bacteria. So that's another way to really help your gut out. You talked about minerals. Ningxia Red contains 21 trace minerals, so it really can help a lot of body systems because of that. Also contains essential fatty acids. It also contains vitamins B's. So all this stuff that Lisa was just talking about getting extra into the body, they're all in Ningxia Red. Extra fiber, it's another really great source because it also has quality juices like pure blueberry, pomegranate, plum, cherry. So it's going to have a lot of nutritive support within that one little 2-ounce supplement that you take. My kids take about an ounce of it. So that is a really amazing supplement that I oftentimes recommend people start with also. So between that and a probiotic is one good place to really try and get a foundation of building up your digestive system. So I wanted to make sure that I shared a little bit about that because it's such a wonderful thing. Young Living infuses actually the wolfberry powder into a lot of other stuff because of the benefits of that one berry. So pretty amazing opportunity to really kind of be able to incorporate a lot of that stuff into our day-to-day life. So I thank you guys for being here. We're really grateful for your time. I don't know if I did copy our chat so that if we have some specific questions, but if anybody had a question based off of what we talked about, go ahead and put that in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, that's the benefit of the live video, that we can go ahead and have that conversation.
Just to answer Jean's 2 questions that I saw. So the easy way to know if a grain is processed or unprocessed is if you put that grain in the dirt and watered it. If it would sprout, it's unprocessed. If it wouldn't sprout, then it's processed. So That's kind of how because I mean, you think it's easy to tell, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, is this processed or unprocessed? So that's a good little rule of thumb. And as far as the goji berries, okay, so one thing that I actually probably should have talked about is anti-nutrients and lectins. And there are some doctors out there like Dr. Gundry, who his entire shtick about digestion and health is centered around removing lectins and anti-nutrients from your food and removing high lectin foods from your diet. Now, I do think sometimes this is helpful for people, but for the average person who's just trying to be healthier, you kind of have to experiment with foods. But let's take beans, for example. So beans are really high in lectins and anti-nutrients, and this helps them not to rot. But when you eat them, it also makes them harder to digest. So you can soak your beans, and that inactivates some of those anti-nutrients. You can cook them in a pressure cooker, like an Instant Pot, and that essentially eliminates the lectins and anti-nutrients. And so there's if you have a lot of digestive problems, you could look up, Google foods high in lectins and that kind of thing, and it will tell you, and you see that list of food and you may start to associate, wow, I feel really bad after I eat that type of food. And so in terms of the goji berries are higher in lectins. They're also a nightshade. However, there was a video by Dr. Jim Bob Hagerton and I forgot his name, but it's Vanessa Romero's husband. And they talked about the cost to benefit of nightshades. Now, nightshades don't work well for some people. Some people eat a nightshade like eggplant, potato, goji berry, and wolfberry, goji berry. They're the same thing. And they may get like arthritis flare up or something like that. It's not super common, but it can happen. And I have heard of maybe like 1 or 2 people that say they can't do Ningxia because of that reason. But even for people often for people with arthritis and joint problems, it does the opposite because of all the great things in it. So it's kind of like along the same lines as that question that comes up every once in a while, that, can people be allergic to essential oils? Well, the answer is yes, but even if you're allergic to, lavender, you're likely not going to be allergic to lavender essential oil. So, it's that kind of thing where it's very individual. So you should test it for yourself. But at the same time, don't be afraid of wolfberries until you try it and see for yourself. Take vitamin B. Essential zymes, yes. B vitamins. So B vitamins tend to manifest that unlocking of nutrients in higher energy levels. And essential zymes do that too, but it's like a broader spectrum thing, cellular energy, but then basically everything else about cellular function too. So I take B vitamins every day. Otherwise, I feel kind of tired. And I take essential zymes every day as well. And I think, if you're eating lunch and you take essential zymes, it's helping you digest your lunch, but it's not going to help you digest your dinner, So that one, yeah, we take every day. I think that's all the questions I see.
So as far as what would be a good starter supplement, and I was just looking at that Ningxia Red definitely was mentioned there as a really great place to start because it is a whole food supplement. It's a great way to incorporate that into your regular nutrition to kind of fill the gaps of our food nutrition. And I think the other answer to that as what other supplements people need is really very individualized. And sometimes it takes, like Lisa said, a little bit of experimenting. I have definitely tried a large variety of supplements. I too take Super B every day and have found that to be great for my energy. Maybe I don't know that it's addressing my digestion, but I have found it really good for my energy and other health. And I think that we all kind of need to recognize like where's our priority need and sort of create a hierarchy of what do we want to address first. But yeah, some people have amazing stories with just Ningxia Red. They start that and incorporate that, and it helps with multiple challenges. So it's definitely a great supplement to start with.
Yeah, if I was gonna give a list that applied to most people for like a foundation, I would say Ningxia, Life 9, Omega Gies, and multigreens. Those would be my, for digestion, but for everything. That those are things that are going to help everybody. And then based on your diet, your lifestyle, your health issues, I may subtract one of those, but then I may add, some other things too. So
when I started Master Formula, for example, I pulled back on Super B because Master Formula has B vitamins in it. And I'll save my Super B for the days I don't take Master Formula and alternate that. So yeah, there's lots of great information. Definitely please ask about more supplement information in the group because those are great conversations to continue to have. And we can continue this conversation there. So thank you guys for being here tonight. We really appreciate it and hope that you appreciate it, and glad for this opportunity.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.